Hello, gorgeous girls. Ah, feels good to feel good again. Telling you, so glad that Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, like forget where we are. Where are we? We are in January 2022. Christmas has passed. Okay, it's like takes a minute to like feel where we are. Happy amazing New Year, my girls. Man, it feels good to feel good. I know there's been a lot of people that have been a little under the weather lately. Let me tell you, good news is that it comes and it goes, right? This too shall pass. It passed. It was pretty mild. However, I didn't have the energy that I had. And I knew that connecting with one of our favorite GFIT girls ever, Marie, I needed to have all that energy because energy is infectious. And with the amount of energy that we're about to bring to this live, I knew I needed to be my top, my best. So here we are. I missed you all so much last week. However, here we are. We're kicking it off, stepping into the new year with that stepping mindset, reminding you again, and maybe you missed that memo last year, how important it is to take those steps. Don't come out of the gates racing. That's what everyone does. But we are different than everyone, right? It's stepping. You got to come in and I remember it so clearly because if you can really just envision this, and if you listen to the mantra, you know, but I'm going to tell you again because it's like, I remember I was on a run and I was like going up this hill and I was like, whoosh, went straight past this woman that was walking up the hill. And then before you know it, I'm like halfway up the hill and I'm huffing and puffing and I feel my pace starting to slow. And here comes that woman. She's just like trotting along. She keeps going. She passes me up and she goes up the hill. And I'm like, oh gosh, what a great analogy for life. And it just so happened to be the new year last year. And it was just such a great reminder that if we come out and we're just racing to the finish line, we're going to hit burnout. We're going to get there. We're going to get tired. We're going to get frustrated. And if you don't have that champion mindset, if you don't have that internal drive that's going to pick you back up, you're either going to stop and not get back up, or you're going to stumble and you're going to lose some amount of time. So why not just have that stepping day in and day out mindset? And so really channeling that this go around, we're only on the 6th of the year. And I just want to remind you, like maybe day 1, day 2, you're like, okay, got this, kind of like this stepping mindset. We're day 6, maybe you're starting to feel like you're starting to sprint. No. We're going to back it up a little bit. Okay. So we're talking long-term results. We're talking stepping mindset. And it's those daily day in and day out steps that are really going to make all of the difference. Okay, so a couple questions that came up that I wanted to answer before we bring Marie on. We've got a lot of great conversation happening, so I'm going to get through these 2 questions. Very good questions that came up. Gosh, how I missed you guys so much. I swear I feel naked when we don't do our lives, so I feel like I've got clothes on again. Okay, here we are. So the first one's from Cheryl, and she says, I love deadlifts. Will they help lift my old lady saggy bum? You know, that line of flesh that pops out underneath your bum. I know that spot all too well. I don't care if you are old lady or if you're 37, moderate lady, that area right under that bum, I swear it's like the hardest to get. Do you ever just like kind of pull it up? Look in the mirror and like take the top of your butt and just like kind of pull it up. I do that a lot. And I'm like, what would that look like? So while we can't spot reduce, there are things we can do to increase that muscle in certain areas, which can help with that lift. So I love deadlifts as well, Cheryl, whether it's a straight leg together or whether it's a single deadlift, lifting one leg up. I'm going to try to do a mini little demo here because it's really important when you do those deadlifts, which is a great one to really target that area, that you're not coming up all the way to the top of the deadlift to where you're targeting your lower back, really staying in that little saggy zone, as you called it. Let's see if you can see me here. So as you're doing a deadlift, right? Like say you're coming down here and then you come up and you thrust. I mean, this is great because you're going to get that top part of the bum here. But if you can come down and really focus on that little tiny area, it's actually easier if I do it from right here, and put your finger here, engage right there, and do more of a pulse straight leg deadlift where you're coming down and you're really squeezing here. So you're not coming all the way up. It's more of that tiny little pulsing deadlift is really great for that area there. You can do the same thing here with the single leg, holding on to something, really focusing on squeezing just that little tiny area. But pulses, when it comes to deadlifts, are really fantastic for that little area under there. So give that a try. And then again, use the power of the touch. The power of the touch really helps you to kind of make sure you're activating that area. Otherwise, you could be activating the back, could be activating your biceps if you're trying to like pull up on that bar. So really dig into that and see if you can feel it right in that area. Okay, next question is from Lisa. Lisa says, when you increase food volume, staying on plan, of course, is it common to be more bloated, change in bowel movements, and gassy? Just wondering if that's the case or if it's my premenstrual symptoms. My timing of changing my meal plan coincided with my premenstrual, and I'm not sure if it's the volume or not. Had a bit of out of control abnormality, bloated and soft bowel movements. So I was wondering if it's the increase in food volume, maybe should keep on how I was. Really good question. So anytime that you're making a change, right, you want to make sure that you're making one change at a time so you know what it is. So it just so happens that you made a change and your hormones also decided to change with it. So Lisa, I would give it another week and kind of see how you do post once your hormones kind of balance out a little bit. And then just go through that checklist of what, am I staying on plan, which it sounds like you are? Am I getting in all my water to keep things kind of flushing through you? But it is kind of like that fine balance. Are you increasing macros? You're increasing carbs, you're increasing other things? Are you just increasing bulk like fiber? Because if you're increasing macros, maybe it's too many calories, right? So you've got to kind of take into account that as well. Another thing is this time of year is always kind of a transitional time when we're easing out of the holidays, out of kind of maintenance mode into more of kind of a stepping go mode, right? And so it's kind of that transition where I personally know as well, I've been a little bit more bloated. I don't weigh myself. I haven't in a long time. Not that I won't, but I haven't. But I feel that I'm up a few pounds. And thank gosh for the 7-day body blast, right? Always kind of kicks us into gear, but it will take a little bit of time for your body to adjust after the holidays. Even if you don't think that you've had a lot of extra BLTs, sometimes when you're holiday mode, little things can add in there. And so it's also kind of that conversation with yourself. Is this bloat, or have I just kind of put on maybe a pound or two, which is going to come off, but having that hard conversation with yourself? Because I know sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm so bloated. And then sometimes you're like, oh, no, Gina, you just kind of put on a pound or two. It'll all come off, but stop saying you're bloated, because maybe it's just that you've put on a few pounds and it's okay. It's going to come off. So there's a lot going on here. Hormonal, you've increased, and then it's seasonal. So I would give it another week or so, especially if you're following the 7-day and then the 21-day. Be consistent and see how it levels out for you. All right. Keep me posted on that, Lisa, and I'm always here to help. Okay, ladies, so are you ready? I'm going to bring on Marie. I'm so excited. I have known Marie for quite some time now, and I've really gotten to know her even closer through the academy and through some other things that we've done together. And so I feel like we're just the besties, and I'm going to bring her on. There she is. Hi, Marie.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, gosh, you look so beautiful. Look at you.
I curled my hair for you, Gina.
Oh my gosh, the things that you do. Look at you. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you.
How are you feeling? I know the family wasn't feeling that great. Is everyone good, healthy again?
Yeah, everybody's good. We're all good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that, thanks for the patience last week. I wanted to make sure we had all the energy because we need it for this conversation, this strong conversation about what's about to go down. First of all, okay, tell everyone, even tell me how long have we been connected through GFIT, and how long have you been following the plans?
Okay, our first connection was through email, and it was October 2014.
Wow, that's so awesome. Look at that. You even have the email?
I do. Oh, I was checking. I'm like, let me go back and see. Yeah, it was way back when. And I even remember, a few of us, right? When you had your Facebook page, the first one that was, kind of free and public to everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, been a long time.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. And just to think back of how all the steps that you've taken, right, to get to where you are.
Yeah, it's taken that long.
Hey, you kept stepping. That's what I love about this conversation, is just it's so real and common that people just think it's going to happen overnight, but no, it takes time. And Marie's such a perfect example of that. Okay, so you go was your word in 2021, and that you did. You went. You took off like I've never seen before, and you did something called the 75-day hard. And at the time, I know this is like this really popular program. I didn't even know about it, so I had to do my own little kind of research and ask you about it. So can you share with everyone before we get into what you learned from it and all that? What exactly is it? And then and yeah, explain what that is.
So 75 hard challenge. Yeah, it was a lot on social media all over and TikTok, and my kids had heard about it, and I had kind of heard about it in the background, but didn't pay much attention. So it's a list of chores or tasks that you do. The person that created it actually created it during COVID, and he doesn't regard it as a weight loss challenge, and neither would I suggest someone who wants to lose weight to do it that way, because there's way easier ways to do it than that. It's very much a mental challenge, and it's just to see when you give your word to yourself, how much are you going to stick to it? Like, how much worth do you think you are? And I've always had a problem with that. I'm always good at giving somebody, and we'll probably get into that, but I did the 21-day challenge with some of the academy people and stuff. And I, we all gave our word, like, okay, we're going to do this 21 days. And so it was fine giving my word again to somebody else. But this time, like, I just needed to do it to me. I thought, okay, you're old enough. You have enough experience, like, smarten up, because you're worth it. Like, just if you're going to give your word, then stick to it and stop all the bullshit, stop all the excuses, because I don't like all that stuff anyways. And so anyhow, it's a tasks, and maybe it didn't scare me that much because we already do that here in the GFit world. It was drink a gallon of water a day. It was 2 45-minute workouts a day. One was inside, and that's what I normally do anyhow, is about 45 minutes. And another one had to be outside. No matter what, it had to be outside.
And outside, it doesn't matter where you are. And let's just say, what is the temperature there today? And it didn't change too much since when you were doing the outdoor cardio.
It's a little bit colder. Today we're at -50 today. So this is extreme. Like, this is super extreme. So, and I had been walking my dog out, but maybe not always timing it 45 minutes, or maybe when it was raining, I'm like, oh, Hartley, forget it. We're not going outside today. But this time you had to do it. You had to take a progress picture of yourself every day. So that was new to me, because I never did that. You had to eat a clean diet. So that's where I dabbled with the GFit I trusted myself and things. So it was clean diet, no cheats. So, like, no sugar, like no cheat, like no potato chips, and no junk food. No, not one chocolate chip, like not one like nothing, and no alcohol. So all those things. Oh, and you had to read 10 pages of self-development book a day. So 10 pages a day. And a lot of those things I was doing, but it was the BLTs, right? That was for me, like, seriously, for 75 days. And the thing with that is if you commit to 75 days and you cheat once, and say you're on day 25, you go back to day 1. That's kind of like the punishment.
Now, what I hear is that, a lot of it, and we've talked about this before, I've heard you say, like, I was kind of already doing, you were drinking your water, you were active, you were following a plan, like, but the secret sauce was the consistency and putting all the pieces together, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And that's where, I got my word for this year. Like, I really thrived on getting up in the morning and having a to-do list.
Yep.
And not just rolling out of bed and, okay, I'm going to go do my GFit, and yeah, maybe I'll do some cardio outside. Maybe I'll do it on the treadmill. Like, I just really loved, like, I got up and I had a purpose that day. I knew that I had to do these things because I gave my word to myself, and there was no ifs and buts about it. There was don't make an excuse. Don't complain about it. Just do it.
Do you find that, because I find that is that the busier I am, the more productive I am.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Because I'm like, right, I'm done it now. And I'm sitting around a bit more, and I'm using the -50 as an excuse not to go outside. And so it's in the back of my head, like I'm thinking, if I was still on it, which I'm planning on doing it again, just because I just love the structure, how many excuses we make in a day of
Absolutely.
just, oh, we don't feel like it, or, oh, do I really need to do that? Or, oh, I'll just have this one BLT. And like you say, well, one BLT can add up if you're doing 10 a day.
And then it affects your mindset, like, oh darn, I did that. But
Mm-hmm.
how long did it take you? Oh, I just love this conversation because I've been in that zone. And when you're in that zone, nothing can stop you. The weather, nobody, no party, none of that. How long did it take you to get into that zone, would you say?
Okay. So when I started, so this is how it goes back a little bit. And you know this, we've had this discussion. My oldest daughter sarcastically one day, talking about fitness, talking about that. And she looks at me with that little smirk on her face. She's 20. And she's like, yeah, Mom, why don't you try to do the 75 hard? And I remember I was in the fridge and I turned and I looked at her and it was like, oh, it's on, right? Because you're 20-year-old and looking at Mom like, oh yeah, Mom. So that's how that started. So when I started, and then this other thing, the growth I'm feeling. When we start a challenge, it's always like, let's start on Monday. Let's start on this. I woke up, it was a Saturday morning, and I journal a lot. So I was sitting at my desk journaling, and it was a Saturday morning early. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm going to do this 75 hard.
Ooh.
And then you think, oh, I'll start on Monday. And I'm like, no way. God damn it. I'm like, I'm starting this right now. It's a Saturday and I'm doing it. And then I started. I didn't say much. Why
would you start a 75-day hard challenge on a Monday? Make it hard, right? Start it on like somebody's birthday on a Saturday.
Yes, totally, right? It's supposed to be hard. And so I started doing all my tasks, not saying much. And I had said to myself, on day 25, I'll post on Instagram that I'm doing this because I do live in a small community. I'm like, maybe there's others. But I said, I'll wait till day 25 just to make sure maybe. And I think I was in day 3 and I was already like, look what I'm doing. And I'm telling my clients. And so, yeah, that's when I decided like.
You know what? The timing had to have been perfect because could it have been a year ago or maybe a week prior or whatever it was, like things just aligned because I know that, the timing was just perfect. And I remember when I was getting ready for a show and it'd be like, okay, Saturday's my go day or whatever it was. And literally that time would come and it would be like a light switch. Like it was on, like, just like you were, you're like, I'm doing it now. Like it's happening. And that light switch would go on and there's no turning back. And that's exactly what it sounded like happened to you, where it's just like, you had that moment, you had that light switch, you had just the stars just aligned on that day where you just committed. And I want to ask you, what was I guess maybe your daughter kind of was the catalyst, but at the end of the day, it really is your commitment to yourself. So what was it about this that really made you kind of commit on a different level? Do you even know?
I think I know. Like a lot of yous know, 50 is this year. And I am the youngest in my family. I have 4 older sisters and 1 brother. And my sisters in particular, have this, I don't know if it's old school mentality, like they're not as active as I am. But anyhow, when they turned 50, I remember there were tears, there were depressed. I would hear them say, oh, you wait till you're 50. That's when like you get a gut. Like we just let it all hang out. You get a gut. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, that can't be what 50 is. Like that can't be. So for me, this concept started when I joined the academy. Like that, joining the academy for me, like the first one was the launch into, okay, when I turn 50, I want to say, bring it, like bring it, like with open arms, like, come on, like, why not? Why wouldn't I be on top of the world? And so it's taken that long where it's been in the back of my head that I just didn't want to be like, I wanted to celebrate 50. Like, why would we not? Right.
And when are we celebrating 50?
January 15th.
Like in 2 weeks?
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know what your question was. Why was it this
What was
time that it
the
worked?
catalyst? The catalyst, I guess,
Okay.
was your daughter was part of that, but the actual was like turning 50.
Mm-hmm. Turning 50, and I wanted to be proud. And I wanted to also, for me, be in my mind the best shape, like mind, physical, spiritually. I wanted everything to, when I sat back and like, wow, I'm 50. Like 50 is a big number,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to be the best that I could be, best foot forward. And so that's what has driven me. And then last year with Go, it was put your head down, Marie. It's tunnel vision and it's go time. Like you have 1 year, get it done.
Oh my gosh. So good. Now, what were some of the mantras or things that you would tell yourself? Because I mean, there were days, I mean, I saw you trekking in the snow, but like, here's the goal. Here's what you're doing. Here's the checklist. It has to get checked off. There's no turning back. You're focused. You're going. Like, what did you do on those days? Like, let's say right now you still have to go outside and it's 50, maybe it wasn't 50 below, but what got you into action? Was it literally that you were just in this challenge or
No, I came to, like, even it wasn't minus 50s when sometimes we would talk and I'd have ice crystals on my, but it was still damn cold. I actually really tried, again, the mind. I would switch that, like it was damn cold. Like reality is it's cold out, but I dressed warm and I switched my mentality of when I would get that cold wind, and instead of being like, oh my God, this sucks, the wind, I'd be like, it's cleansing me. Like,
yes,
it's cleansing. Just cleanse me with the wind. Like I would just try and switch everything in a positive manner. And maybe that's like, I think a mental switch turned in many aspects of my life for me to see things like brighter and better instead of this sucks.
Yeah. And like I get to do this. I'm outside, I'm in fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
looking around at your scenery. Like, but what I love is that like it takes time. These seeds have been planted and these things that you've been telling yourself, and you weren't ready 2 years ago, 5 years ago, but you were ready now. But it's because of these seeds that you've been planting
Mm-hmm.
along the way. It doesn't happen overnight that you can be out in minus 20 degrees and all of a sudden be like, oh, this is beautiful. Like it happens in time for you to like rewire your brain. And that I've witnessed that, and I've witnessed it with you. Just like, how can I grow? How can I continue to change my mindset? You were the first one to sign up for the academy. You're like, no, I want to keep bettering myself and keep learning and keep growing and keep doing. And I've witnessed that. And so this challenge, as you're doing it, I've been on the outside watching, and it's like watching this garden grow. It's just like so beautiful to watch. And yeah, it's been awesome, because what I also see is this champion mindset that I talk about. And that's why, Marie, I wanted you to be, give you the first title of an expert, because it's like she's doing all of the things that are making for her to live her best life at her 50s. I mean, like stepping into your 50s in the best mental, physical shape ever. How does that feel? I mean, but you've cultivated this champion mindset that I cultivated through my years of rigorous training, and now you've done the same. Would you agree that like you really feel like you've got this champion mindset that I talk about?
Yes. And you know what's funny? And all through the years and through your lives, and sometimes you would do shout outs, or we would see people with the transformation, or we would even hear you talk about people, and you would say like look at you, it clicked. And through many years, I would sit back and listen and say, damn it, why is it not clicking for me? Like, when is it going to click? And I don't think we know. I think it's about just don't give up.
Yep.
Like how you say it's one day at a time. And I my analogy was I would get flickers, right? I would do like the 6-week challenge every New Year's, and 4 or 5 weeks I'd be so awesome, and then get close and oh, that's good enough, right? And there was always little flickers, a little flicker here, and then we would do something else and I'd get a little flicker there. And I'd always say, like, why is it doesn't stay lit? And for whatever reason, maybe, and it was like it's been a 2-year process, like something lit. Finally, something lit.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, goes back to that igniting that fire, right? It's like that inner fire. It's almost like you got a taste of it, or you know, it was like it would light and then the candle would burn out, or it would light and it would ignite and then it would just kind of like it'd be there, and then it would fade, and then something about this where it lit and that fire was lit, and
Mhm.
once it's lit, not saying that it's gonna stay lit
Yeah,
forever, but
true.
now
Yep.
knowing what that feels like, you know, like when you're
Mhm.
in that zone, in that we call that the flow state, right?
Yeah.
Where you're unstoppable. Like there's nothing that can stop you. I bet let's just claim it. Your business took off, right? Like during these times.
Yes.
I mean, things were happening to Marie where it was like, what? It was like synchronicity. Like that's what happens.
Yeah. I thought I was retiring, and no, I guess I wasn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just so awesome because people come in for the physical, you know, like I want to get in the best shape, but they don't understand that as you're getting in the best shape, you know, and that's never done. We're always constantly trying to improve, but you're building this mindset. And in that process, you're growing all these other areas of your life and you get to bloom and blossom. And it's just so awesome to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. And like you say too, it's not all roses. It's not all unicorns and butterflies. Like, yeah, I've been and I think this is another thing where people are so anxious, or maybe us not anxious, women are so easily say like, oh, I gained 10 pounds, or oh, I feel so selfish to take time for myself. Flip that shit and be like, look, I'm thriving. Like, women want to applaud other women, right? And if they don't, well, then they have an issue. But I just find us as women, we're so quick to diminish or state our flaws, state our negatives. Say your good things. Like, it's not about being vain. It's like, I put that damn time in and I'm
Confidence.
gonna say it. Like,
And that's why I always say there's a difference between being confident and being cocky, right? There's a difference. So when you're confident, you like you're saying, like own it. You're proud. You're putting in the work, right? You're not saying like I'm better than you, but you
yeah,
put in the work and we all want to celebrate that with you. It's so beautiful to walk in confidence, and by you stepping up in your confidence, it encourages other people. I mean,
mhm,
even with the high five that, you know, that you started doing, it was just like seeing people like give themselves high five every
yeah,
single day and show up and just these little ways to build that confidence. So yeah, amen, sister. Keep
yeah.
showing off those abs. Do it because we want to keep celebrating you and
Oh,
everyone else.
that's something. I got so much to say, Gina. This is the other thing. In the 75
This
hard,
is part one of part three.
my boot campers, this, right, a lot of you know, like I own a boot camp and I own a gym and stuff, and so they've been also seeing the transformation and stuff. And one of my clients a couple days ago, she woke up in the morning and she's seen my post that I had already worked out, and I was just in my sports bra on something, and she mentioned it in class, and she's like, well, how can I stay in bed when like Stevenson's posting bikini pics? It wasn't a bikini pic. It was the same pic that you guys, and then I made a face. I'm like, what bikini pic? She's like, well, no, but you all like showing. And then I had to tell the girls at boot camp, I said, girls, you know, when I did my 75 hard, yes, there were tasks, but I said, there was also other tasks in there that I put on myself. And I said, I could not a year ago work out in a sports bra, right? Because we're critical about ourselves. I'm also a trainer. So midsection is where I keep fluff. And I could not, in the privacy of my own garage, not even work out in a sports bra because I would see, right? Or it wasn't what I wanted to. And so the day that I started 75 hard was also the day that I said, I am going to take a picture in my sports bra and I'm going to post this damn picture, because I needed my mental to get over that and to accept, like, I'm not perfect. I've had 3 kids. Like, so that was one other thing where.
That's so good. I was actually thinking about that this morning when I was swimming. All my thoughts, right, when I swim. But it was like, you know, when somebody's insecure about something, they want to hide, right? Like just like you want to hide those abs. Or when I was insecure about my legs, I would wear pants. And then I got to the point where I was like, no, you got to own it. Like when I would feel, even today, like if I feel bloated, guess what? I put the short shirt on and I just like, I'm like, I got to own that. Like, so if your legs are feeling, if that's your weakness, you put on those short shorts and you own it. Just like with you own that tummy, and it's all through your perception. But still, if you're feeling that way, people tend to hide. But if you can start to own it and embrace those flaws through doing something like as simple as that, throwing on that sports bra, throwing on those booty shorts. One would be like, is she really running in those booty shorts? It's like, yeah, I'm actually very insecure right now, but I'm doing this to make myself more confident in the process, right?
Yeah. Totally.
I love that. So now, is there anything that you would have done different, or is there anything that you would have changed in the process, or you think it was pretty smooth sailing?
No, it was. Everything was spot on. Like it aligned. It aligned. But I did calculate it also. So I wrote down here. I did the 21-day real food challenge the end of August. I had never, and I had told you that I had never done that like fully again. And we did it. Remember in Marco Polo, and I loved I love that 21 real foods. I love it. I love the Greek yogurt. So that also got me like a little pep in my step because I enjoyed that challenge. I was like, yeah, I like this 21. So when I was done that, then I started thinking, right, now what? Not that we always need something, like, right, we also need to learn to just live without a challenge or without like small goals all the time. And so where am I going with this?
No, that small goal, that could have been part of the catalyst too. The 21 days kind of gave you that little bit of confidence. Now you wanted more.
Yes. Oh, that's it. I also timed it where like I knew I couldn't be on this for Christmas. Like that's setting yourself up kind of for failure. And you said that too. And like I even say that like to my girls or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Like my trainer has told me, and it's ground in my head, like Christmas time or December, it's not the time to be reaching for the top of the mountains, right? Because you may slip. It's that time of the year. So I did calculate it to like December 22nd, and I knew like, okay, there's nothing much going to happen. I'll be done then, and then I can enjoy a little bit. But what's funny again with that is I don't have the taste. Like I like a cocktail. You know that. I lost the taste. I think I had maybe 3 during the whole Christmas season. Like I'm like, where's my alcohol buds? I don't know.
Oh my God. It's interesting how, your taste buds start to change. And that's why when people, it's like sticking to a challenge, before you know it, that one thing, like the sugar that they were craving, it starts to diminish and go away because you start to just change your palate. And then sweet is not like you taste something, it's like, oh my God, that used to not be too sweet. And now it's overly sweet, or that alcohol, you change your taste for things. But guess what? It comes with that laying that consistent foundation of eating for purpose for that solid amount of time.
Yeah.
That is, so I love that you timed that, because I was actually wondering, I was like, wow, she timed that really well because, but also we had Thanksgiving, you had your holiday party with your girls.
Yes.
And I there's not going to be a time where, like, even now, I scheduled the challenge for later, and already girls are like, oh, I'm going on vacation, or, oh gosh, we're going to start, and 2 weeks later is going to be Valentine's Day. Like, there's never going to be that perfect time. I mean, once you have kids, every weekend's a party, a holiday, a this, a that, they're off for school, right? So it's like, there's always going to be something. But I do love that you did challenge yourself during the Thanksgiving and during that holiday party where you said you're normally on the table, like dancing around. But you timed it right to where it was like Christmas. I thought that was really good because you challenged yourself, but yet still were able to enjoy the holidays.
Yeah, like I think, and Christmas is a big thing for me. Like we celebrate it hard. So I just knew like let's be realistic here a little bit, but like I went through 2 birthdays, like my middle one and my son. I had Todd's birthday, and they all knew like there was cake. I made a cheesecake for one of them because that's her favorite, and they all knew. They were like, "Okay, well, mom's doing another challenge again." It's just that this one was long and like a little bit more. But like, yeah, there's always going to be we can always find an excuse.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always going to be an excuse. And if we're looking for it, we're going to find it. Right. But it's just so great because you were I just know what it feels like to be in that zone and to see you in it. So like for our listeners, would you say, what kind of advice would you give someone in terms of, just don't giving, like, what somebody who's just starting out, maybe at 2014, like you were, what what would you say your 1, 2, 3 takeaways are in terms of where you were then and where you are now? If you could see, I guess maybe this is a question. What advice would you give yourself then now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. One would be to stop procrastinating. Like, I learned that so much about, say, even going for that walk every day. Some days it was pouring rain, like at the beginning in October. And if I wouldn't have switched my mental, I would have usually procrastinated. And then you wait all day, and then it's like, oh, well, like it's supper time now, and then it's homework. So what I did was, if I came home and I'm done my days of work pretty early, like I'm done at 10 a.m., but still you come home, you got housework, and this, as soon as I thought about the walk, it was like, partly, let's go. Like, why procrastinate? If I know I have time right now, why put it off for an hour? Like, something might happen in an hour. Mm-hmm. I thought of it, go. So what I would have given myself in 2014 is stop procrastinating on so many things. Like, do it. Just, you have the time, or if something falls in your lap, there may be a reason for that, right? Stop being so scared, or so that's a big one, is stop procrastinating. Holy, 2 more, Gina.
Well, that's such a good one. I mean, that one alone is like, just stop, just do. Like, that's why the whole 3, 2, 1 mantra, just 3, 2, 1, and it follows with go. And I don't do 1, 2, 3, because then it could easily go 4 or 5. I have to do oh gosh, got to make the bed 7. It's like, no, 3,
let's have a drink.
Go. Right? Oh no. Yeah. And then where does that lead? Or if we go, it's going to be a really fun walk. Yeah, but just like that 3, 2, 1, and I do it every day, even like right before I jump in the pool or start a cardio session. It's always just like, I tell myself 3, 2, 1, go, and it's 3, 2, 1, activate. It's go.
Yeah. No, I do 3, 2, 1. Well, yeah, we learned that from you. Like 3, 2, 1, go. Like, just, or eat the frog, right? Sometimes, like, it was cold in the garage to do my cardio. I'm like, yeah, just eat the goddamn frog. Just get it done. Like,
swallow this thing already.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why morning cardio, I see you're up before me. Gosh, so many of you ladies, I'm like, whoa, better get going. But it's like that morning cardio and that morning workouts. Everyone's always like, when's the best time? Well, the best time is whenever you're going to get it done. But I have just found that first thing in the morning just sets the day, and you eat that frog first and you have the rest of the day, right? Like, doing it first thing. Otherwise you procrastinate.
Yeah.
If you have that champion mindset, you're going to be able to work through that procrastination, but so much of us aren't there yet. So that procrastination leads to just stop. Like, I'm not going. I'll just start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow turns into the next day. Next day.
Totally.
Yeah, that's a good one. Did you think of anything else? I think that's really, really good advice. Anything else pop up? Don't stop, right? Don't quit.
Yeah. And it's not always going to be perfect. But, what are you going to do about that? Life's not perfect.
No.
And stop making excuses, maybe. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's just me just blubbering, because I'm just that kind of a trainer also. Like, if I have clients and, I've given money back to a client because I'm like, listen, when you're ready, because you're wasting my time right now, like, then you come and see me. Like,
yep.
Anyhow, that's off topic, but
no, it's so true. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Like, your own way. It's not her, it's not him, it's not her, like, it's not the cake, it's you. You know. And to know that, like, even when you stumble, because it's not always going to be easy, life is hard, right? But that to know that you're growing through that stumble, you're growing at every phase of that journey. When you're on fire, you're growing, but then also when you're in the mud, you're growing. And I know that so much of this champion mindset didn't just come from you thriving. It didn't just come from you going. It also came from those times where you were beating yourself up, telling, whatever. That was grown then. Just as it was grown through the 75 hard.
Yeah. And then we have this word, when you're in your sticky, or when sticky happens, right? And then you remember that, like, you remember when you're in your sticky, how did you get out of it? Like, there's always going to be a sticky, guys. Like, I don't know if everybody knows that. It's like when shit's happening, when it's not going your way, right? And then you can, like, you're in your sticky, and then you keep telling yourself how much you're in your sticky. Well, then forget it. You might as well go back.
And you're stuck. You go from sticky to stuck. Yeah. Oh, that. Yep. You just got 3, 2, 1. Get out of your own way. 3, 2, 1. Flip the script. Change it. And to know that you have that control is so powerful.
And the other thing too is the community, right? The community around you and the people around you also. It's so easy, and some people, not everyone, wants the best for you. That's where life gets tough, and you got to make decisions of, okay, that's the detox, right, from the academy, right? People, things. You gotta sit down sometimes and look at what's in front of you. Is this serving me? If it's not, you got to pull up your big girl panties, man, and make it happen for yourself, because no one else is going to do that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, I mean, it's funny because I actually have to think about that because we're so surrounded by so many supportive people. Yeah, it's crazy that there are those sticky people in your space, but once you get really good, I know you've gotten good at it too, Marie, of getting rid of the stickies, right? You get out of your own way, but then you also get really good at the power of being in your zone, the power of going through and being in this state that you're in too. You get more confident in the removal, right? Because you're like, no, I'm out of my own way now. Nobody else is going to get in my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have to. Eventually, it may not happen, right? That's all part of the growth, I think. And none of us are done growing. Like what we learn, or you hope you learn, by the obstacles in a day, or obstacles that people put in your way, and you've got rid of them, right? We just got to look at it and make sense of it.
Yeah, learn from it and just keep going. So are you jumping on board the New Year's challenge coming up? Are you taking all this energy and jumping into it?
Yep.
I'm excited.
I am. Yeah.
Have you stuck to a 6-week 100%, Marie, ever?
One of yours? Mm-hmm. I did not the 6 week. No, not never. By week 5, 4.5, I'm like, okay, then I would start a BLT. My big thing isn't necessarily BLTs. It's the skipping of the meals. I'll get on a Saturday and say, if we're out skidooing and stuff, or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, I just missed 2 meals.
Yeah.
That is where, it's not necessarily the BLTs for me. I can control that. It's the skipping of the meal. So I could be good for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but then that maybe last week or two, oh, I've had breakfast, and oh, look, maybe I'll have an afternoon snack. That is where I struggle.
Or you try to make up for the calories or skip the calories, or maybe then you get hungry and then you find yourself wanting everything at the house. It's the slippery slope.
Yeah.
But you're aware of that. Being aware of that now, being prepared, and just be interesting to have a conversation with you again, maybe 5 weeks out, maybe just to reignite that fire. Like, nope, you're not doing it this time, Marie. Yes. See where you're at and see how everything you've done has helped you with this next challenge, that you're about to take on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Thrive. I've kind of dropped my word here and there, but I haven't really totally announced it. But let's talk about your word first. Thrive. Where did that come from? Where do you see that taking you? Tell me about Thrive. I like it.
Thrive. Again, Thrive came from, I would say, middle to the end of my 75 hard. I felt like I knew and I felt that I was thriving. But again, that checklist really did something, and a plan for my day, just really made me feel worthy, right? I knew it every day I had a plan. Yeah, they were repetitive, but they were also go outside, do that. So I felt like I was thriving. So that's where Thrive came from. I knew that I wanted to continue to feel that feeling of thriving. Again, I know there's peaks, there's valleys. We all know that, but that's where that came into. And I just don't want it to stop.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to continue to thrive throughout the next year, because when you get a taste of it, like you say, it feels good. You want to keep going. You don't want to just get there. I thrived, and now I'm I'm done. Well, no, I just want to keep on going. So that's where my word came from.
It's now what? Now how am I going to thrive? And what I like about that is that it's such a good word. I think that so many of us during this crazy time that we've all been living, that was one of the mantras, thriving through it, not just surviving. How can we thrive in every day? Not just survive and just ride the wave, but no, how can we take ownership and thrive throughout whatever's given to us? But what I like is that for you, I feel like the word is more of a feeling, right? So you can always it's a solid word, no, I'm going to thrive, but then because you know what it feels like to thrive, if you're ever having a sticky icky moment or whatever, you can go back to what it felt like to thrive and then check yourself. What was I doing then to be thriving? And then also, what am I doing now that I'm feeling this way? So it's when you have that feeling, it's really easy to kind of connect with it and to get yourself back on track. So I don't know if I just am kind of feeling like it's a real strong emotional word for you, which is
it is totally, because I haven't felt that way. Like I was feeling pretty. I was pretty up. Like I'm pretty uppity right now. Like I'm feeling pretty proud. Like it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling because again, it hasn't taken me a long time, but there were long-term goals, right? And before you get to the long-term goals, you need the short ones in between, right? You just keep checking them off and keep checking them off. And I'm a big journal, like, right? I write everything down every day. Like my day is just every day. There's a plan, and I can look back. So yeah, so that's it. And like you say, this next year, I just wanted every day, and every day is not going to be perfect, but I want to treat every day like waking up always with the glass half full.
Yep.
Right? Like just use every day, because we never know.
Yeah. Presence. I so good. It's funny because I'm cutting out all these clippings for the Sunday vision board night, and this is so weird. This is what's so crazy when you're not only aligned personally, things start happening, but all of a sudden, like everywhere I would turn, I'd be like, oh look, thriving. I'm gonna send this to you. This is gonna go on your vision board. Oh, look, this whole page is all about thriving. See, thrive. Like everywhere, it's just thrive. I was like, that's pretty cool, because I'm about to talk to Marie today, and that's her word, thrive. Isn't that pretty magical?
So what is your word, Gina?
Oh, so here's the word. I thought about this word last year, and I was going to do it. I was going to use it. I even got a journal that said it's time to blah. And then I was like, yeah, I wasn't there. I needed just to have more fun, right? So I stuck with fun. But this year, guess what the word is? It's what last year's was. Here it is. Is my light off? Oh, you can't probably see it because it's dark outside. Grow. And this is, so many areas, like, yeah, literally, I want to get better with my green thumb. I want to get better at my tower gardens that are over there empty. I need to get better about that. Growing, this is a big year for me, growing spiritually on my spiritual path. I've got a couple retreats. I've got like personal retreats that are just more like breath work and like the spiritual side of things, and just tapping into this whole other realm that I know exists out there that I've been able to tap into through my own, champion mindset stuff, but I just know there's more. So it's like that area is really big. And then, just growing, just growing our tribe, just growing in every way, shape, or form, family wise. And so it just, it just has like a lot of meaning to me. And so every day, just like, you take that word, God, the words are so powerful. Is this helping me grow? And it's a really simple answer. Like if it's helping you grow and if it's serving you, then you keep going. And if it's not, then it's time to move on and put that aside and just keep focusing on those things that are going to help you grow in that direction. So that just really resonated with me. And so that is my word. And guess what? As I grow, you ladies grow. Good stuff. I just love all the words. Have you felt like so much power that's come through with everyone sharing their words? It's like,
yeah, so and so many good ones. I'm like, wow, that's a good word. Like so many good ones.
Yeah, so many good words, and it just brings this huge wave of emotion of just, so good. The word party is so fun once you get started. It's kind of hard to stop. Well, that's so exciting, and I'm very thrilled to finally be able to hug you, Marie.
I know it's coming.
It's going to happen. And I'm just really looking forward to that. Although I do feel like every single one of you I know so well. I feel like we just hung out yesterday. But that's really going to be an epic highlight of 2022 for sure. All right, Marie. Well, thank you so much for your time. Like I said, this is part 1 of probably part 3, because we have so much to share. And once you kind of, like I can lead by example and stuff, but it's so cool when you have other people that have been there that can really kind of explain it in a different way of what that feels like or the steps that you have to take. And you're just such a great example of all of the teachings and all of the GFIT lifestyle. So thank you for
thank you, Gina. Example. Thank you. You're a good leader.
Oh, takes a village.
Yeah.
All right, Marie. Well, like I said, we'll connect again. We'll see where you're at week 4 or 5. Determined. I'm determined. keep you on track this 6 weeks.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you so much for your motivation. Okay, we'll see you
bye,
soon.
guys.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I could have talked for hours and hours and hours with Marie. So good. And as I just said, it's just really cool to see, somebody who doesn't give up, because every time somebody bounces out or gives up, I'm just like, no, you are so like, if you would have just kept going, you're that much closer to getting into the state that Marie's in right now, where she's thriving, and when you're there, you want that for everyone, because it's not just the physical. Yeah, the body starts to shine, the body starts to respond, you start to get, all the things, the butt starts to lift, all the amazing things. But more than that, it's just this level of confidence that you gain to know, like, wow, I did that. Now look what I can do. Right. And then your whole life just starts to get in this beautiful sign of alignment. And it's just really, really powerful stuff. So with that being said, here's an opportunity. You've got 2 opportunities coming up. 21-day Real Foods is what I'm jumping on next week. Remember, that's part of the 7-day, and then we do the 21-day. So maybe that's just like your taste of, all right, I'm going to commit to this, and I'm just going to get a taste of, oh, wow, I can do this. Now what? And then we start the New Year's challenge. Details are coming soon. And that's your opportunity to, like, 6 weeks. I'm going to commit. Like, I can do this. And especially when everyone's doing it with you, that power of having that energy and that momentum. So here's your opportunity to get a taste of what Marie was talking about during this whole time. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. Such great conversation. And as you know, you see Marie every day. If you have any questions, reach out to her. She's my girl. And we will connect with you real soon.